Hello and welcome to another Uniko video with me, Bev, the owner and designer of all things Uniko. Today is day 2 of the April release 2025 product introductions. And today I have a layering stencil to introduce to you. This one is called Floral Fusion and it contains 4 layers. Obviously when I package any of my products, I always make sure that, especially the stencils, that I package them so they go in the right way up, or I should say layered, so you can, like what I've done here, is use a little Sharpie to put a T in the top corner, so then it's easy for me just to place them all in exactly the right place when I come to stencil them. And to be honest, there's no particular order with this one because it creates an all over pattern. Obviously on my sample card here that I've shared on social media today and on the blogs as well, I have split the panel to create space for the sentiment that I used. This sentiment was from the stamp set that I introduced yesterday, which is Butterfly Serenade, and you can see here I embellished with another of the flowers that I inked separately and then fussy cut out. And this is another card that I shared on the blog, which I show how you can just use single elements from the stencil to create a border, or, like I've done in the past, create a nice sort of a posy or whatever really. So there's more than just what you see. It's all about being creative in it at the end of the day. I'll just put them to one side and we'll get to inking this stencil so you can see it in action. I'm just going to bring out my Make Art magnetic board. And like I said yesterday, my mini Misty has stuck itself to the reverse. That's why I didn't lay flat. So unusual for me, but I thought I would, as it's I don't normally do square cards, I thought I'd make a change today and do a square card so you can see the whole stencil as it's inked. So I just put even though I'm using magnets, I thought I always put a little bit of temporary adhesive on the back of my card to hold it in place, because the magnets mainly just to keep the stencil in place really. So I'm gonna try and remember where I am placing this, and it's roughly one of these, so it's about a centimetre, I think, half a centimetre square around the edge of my piece of white card, and my piece of white card is 14 centimetres square. Now I got a whole, I mentioned them yesterday, I got the new Concord and 9th colours, so I thought I would use them today as well, as I'll be blending through the stencil. So this first one is Pistachio, a nice green colour. So I'm starting with the leaves. As I said, as long as you place the stencils in the same place of the top of each other, they will fit perfect, and you don't have to do it in any particular order, just whatever order you feel like. I'm just doing flat stenciling today. I'm not going to go in and do anything particularly fancy. You could ink and then apply all your layers and then go back in and then use Versamark through it or embossing paste to add some glitter to certain sections. Lots of things you can do really. But really what I wanted today, get that hair out of the way, is just to show you what this stencil looks like as a whole, and all the layers. And like all of the product introductions, we always have a brand ambassador blog hop for each product, and the brand ambassadors showcase the stencils, all the stamps, in various ways, and sometimes they pair them with previously released products and sentiments and things, so you can see if there's something you've already got in your Uniko collection, what they work with. But when it comes to floral stencils with foliage and things, I think there's so many creative possibilities, and I've had a lot of fun recently with layering stencils. I just think they are rather fun and create really nice patterns for backgrounds and things. So I've done the leaves in pistachio. I'm just going to move that to the side. And then there's 2 flower layers. So I am just going to keep things really simple today and just do it in one colour on each layer. But you could easily use a detailed brush or simple masking to use different colours for the different flower shapes. So I'm just going to use Pimento, which is another of the new colours. As I said yesterday, I wasn't too sure about the colours when I first saw them. They didn't wow me. But I have to say, since I have used them, I do quite like them. I was just checking that. There's my red brush. So there's the red one. So I do quite like this red actually. I do like Poppy, which is the other red, the original red. I might actually grab Poppy out. I'll have to do a comparison at some point. I was going to use the other colour that I really like. But yeah, this is a nice red. I really like it. So I'm just going over here quite simply. Just covering. I always seem to hold on to, even though the magnets are quite strong, it's just out of habit, I just always seem to hold the edge of the stencil as well to make sure that it doesn't move. You might recognise this tiny flower shape. It is Flower Power 6, sort of a rose shape, but without the detail, and it's more like the shadow of it. So there's a little sort of like a snippet of another product that's made a little appearance. Isn't that red beautiful against that sort of pistachio green? Very vibrant. So as you can see, I've put a little T in the top. I had it so it was 1/2 centimetre square around. So another thing I thought I'd just mention, because it's happened here, these are quite delicate and they lift quite easily when you're cleaning, especially if you use a cloth. I tend to just run mine under the tap, and I use a sort of a little soft toothbrush if I need to get heavy stains off, so just be careful when cleaning. You can sort of bend them back into place, but some areas of the flowers can be quite delicate. So the other colour that I really love in this collection, that's up there with the teals that I love, is Lakefront. I think I've only got my big Oceanside next to me. It's sort of a more muted sort of teal, but I love Oceanside. But I used this the other day and I have to say it is a lovely, lovely colour. I'm just trying to find which brush I used. I think I used this one. Won't matter too much. But yes, lovely colour, Lakeside. It sort of sits itself, I think, lovely in between Oceanside and Peacock. I know Concord and Ninth did do a colour comparison where the new colours fit in with the other colours before these came out. But yeah, I was quite pleased when I actually saw it in use. I think sometimes you see things and products and it's not until you actually see them physically, sort of face to face, that you realise how nice they actually are. You can show people pictures and videos such as YouTube, but it's not until you actually get to physically touch the product you realise how nice it is. And I think that's true with colours as well. It's hard to tell depending on your monitor screen and things like that. Colours will show up a little bit different, and using them, that's when you think, oh yeah, it's actually nicer than I originally thought. So it's the age-old saying, never judge a book by its cover. So that's that layer. So I've just done it all in one layer, all in one colour for each layer. And then the final layer is the centres of the flowers. And I'm just going to go in, normally I would go in with like a yellow or whatever, but as I'm going over some quite darkish colours, I'm going to go over with black. As say, you could use paste or glitter or whatever through these stencils. So if you had a yellow or gold paste, for example, or you could use your Versamark through it for the dots, and then you could heat emboss with a gold or even a yellow embossing powder, and that would stand out against the vibrant colours. I go through stages of heat embossing. Sometimes I really love it, and sometimes I just find it a bit of a faff and I can't be bothered. But I do quite like black. I think it'll be a nice contrast to the colours that I've used. But this way you can see, by just inking each of the layers with one colour, you can see the full pattern. Almost done. I'm just using my VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink here, and just one of the waffle flower detail brushes, which I quite find useful for these smaller sections of detailed stencils. And there we have all 4 layers inked. And you You could add some dimension by inking like the red flowers maybe and these large ones, and then fussy cutting them out and then popping them up to create some dimension. But that is how Floral Fusion layering stencil looks when you have done all 4 layers. Later today I will create a card using this, and I will share it on social media, so be sure to check back on the blog or Instagram. I'll probably share it on Instagram and Facebook, and obviously it'll be on Pinterest at some point as well, but I will leave it there for today. Thank you for joining me today for this introduction to this stencil. I'm hoping you're enjoying all the released products so far. I will be back again tomorrow with another product introduction. I've got 5 products to introduce this week, so this is the second one. 3 more to go, and then on Sunday at 9 AM BST, the products will go live on the website for you to order, and they will also be available at Craftorama Lincoln, the show there. So I look forward to seeing any of you that are coming to the show. Thank you for watching today, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.